There's this one single material that, I'm not kidding, makes modern transportation possible, saves lives in hospitals, and even cushions every single step you take. And it's probably not what you're thinking. Today, we're going to peel back the layers on the absolutely fascinating story of rubber.
Okay, just think about this for a second. You've got a massive car tire, a delicate pair of surgical gloves, and your favorite running shoes. I mean, they couldn't seem more different, right? But they all share this one secret ingredient. What's the thread that connects them all?
Yep, the answer is rubber. It's this incredibly versatile, kind of hidden material that has been quietly shaping our world for over a century. Its ability to stretch, to bounce back, to cushion, to seal, that's what makes all of these modern marvels we take for granted even possible. So, in this explainer, we're going to dive in. We'll look at where rubber comes from, how one single chemical trick completely unlocked its power, the way it literally built our modern world, the massive environmental problem it's created, and finally, the hunt to give this amazing material a second life.
All right, let's start at the very beginning. When we talk about rubber, most of us, we probably picture a rubber tree somewhere. And you're not wrong, but that's only half the story. Rubber actually comes from two totally different worlds. You've got the natural world of agriculture, and then you've got the synthetic world of the chemistry lab.
And this is where it gets really interesting. On one side, you have natural rubber. It's basically farmed, tapped as latex from the Hevea tree, mostly out in Southeast Asia. But on the other side, you've got synthetic rubber, which is born from petrochemicals, from crude oil, in these massive industrial refineries. It's really nature versus the lab. One is harvested by hand, the other is engineered from the molecule up.
The journey of natural rubber, it's pretty much an ancient agricultural craft. So after a tree grows for about 7 years, these skilled workers, they're called tappers, make these super precise cuts in the bark. This lets that milky white sap, the latex, drip out into collection cups. It's a process that's been perfected over centuries. Now, the synthetic process, it could not be more different. It all starts in a refinery where crude oil is turned into a substance called naphtha. That naphtha is then cracked into these tiny little individual molecules. And here's where the magic happens. Scientists link these molecules together into long, repeating chains. It's a process called polymerization. The best way to think of it is like snapping together billions and billions of tiny Lego bricks to build something big and strong and flexible. And this lets them create a huge variety of specialized rubbers for, well, everything from wetsuits to engine seals. But here's the kicker. For the longest time, it didn't matter if it came from a tree or from a lab. Raw rubber just wasn't very good. It was kind of useless, actually. It needed a total game-changing discovery to unlock its real potential. I mean, can you imagine a material that would get gooey and sticky and just melt in the summer heat, but then become brittle and crack in the winter cold? That was raw rubber. Yeah, it was interesting, for sure, but not very practical for building, well, anything that needed to last. So the huge breakthrough came from Charles Goodyear back in 1839. He discovered that if you just heat rubber with sulfur, something incredible happens. The sulfur atoms create these tiny little bridges or crosslinks between the long, stringy rubber molecules. Picture a bowl full of loose spaghetti strands. That's kind of like raw rubber. Now imagine adding tiny threads that tie all those strands together. That's vulcanization. It locks the molecules in place and gives the whole material its strength and structure. And the transformation was total. That sticky, unstable mess became the tough, stretchy, and stable material that we all rely on today. Vulcanization turned rubber from a weird novelty into a cornerstone of the entire Industrial Revolution. And with that one little chemical trick, the floodgates just opened. Vulcanized rubber went on to redefine transportation, industry, and pretty much all of daily life. And there is no better example of this than the modern tire. I mean, it looks pretty simple, right? It's black and it's round. But it is an absolute engineering marvel. It's not just one piece of rubber. Oh no, it's a super precise recipe that blends natural and synthetic rubbers, reinforces them with steel belts and textiles, and is packed with chemical additives like carbon black for strength and antioxidants to stop it from cracking. This is serious high-tech engineering, and the whole thing hinges on that one vulcanization process. But here's the flip side. Rubber's greatest strength, its incredible durability, has created one of our biggest environmental headaches. So what do you do with a material that's literally designed to never break down? The scale of this problem is just staggering. Over 1 billion tires reach the end of their life every single year. Let that sink in for a moment. And that's just tires. That doesn't even count all the other rubber products out there. They're just piling up in landfills and dump sites all over the world.
So this leads to a really important question. You know, we melt down glass bottles and steel cans all the time to make new ones. So why can't we just do the same thing with rubber? It seems so simple.
And here is the ultimate catch-22. The very chemical process that makes rubber so amazingly strong, those permanent vulcanization crosslinks, is also the thing that makes it so hard to recycle. See, unlike a plastic bottle or an aluminum can, you can't just melt it down. If you heat vulcanized rubber, it just burns. Those little chemical locks refuse to be undone, and that makes simple recycling pretty much impossible.
But hey, that is not the end of the story. Not by a long shot. Faced with this massive challenge, scientists and engineers are now in this global race to find clever ways to break rubber down and build it back up again, to try and create a truly circular economy for this essential material.
So, how are we doing it? Well, there are three main strategies right now. The most basic one is mechanical grinding, which just shreds old tires into crumb rubber for things like playgrounds and asphalt. A more advanced method is devulcanization, which uses chemicals to try and chemically unlock those really tough sulfur bonds. And then there's pyrolysis, which is a super high-tech process that heats rubber without any oxygen, breaking it back down into its core parts: valuable oil, gas, and steel.
And the future looks even more exciting. We're seeing innovations like bio-based synthetic rubbers that are made from plants like sugarcane or algae, not oil. Scientists are developing enzymes that can act like tiny molecular scissors to just snip those crosslinks with incredible precision. And we're even seeing things like digital tracking that could help us recover every single rubber product when it's reached the end of its life.
Ultimately, it all boils down to this. Rubber is an incredible servant to humanity. It has given us so much. But that gift, it comes with a responsibility to manage its entire life cycle, from the tree plantation all the way to the recycling plant.
So, you see, rubber's story is far from over. It started with sap dripping from a tree, it was revolutionized by a happy chemical accident, and it went on to build the world that we all live in today. The big question now is whether our ingenuity can solve the problem that very success created, making rubber's next chapter its most innovative one yet.